So I've got a sheath made for this tomahawk that the neighbor dropped off. It's all done, dried up. I still have to wrap the handle, and for that I'm planning on using this stuff. Now this is wide enough that it'd probably work as a 4-strand braid to wrap it around, but I don't like the looks of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to split it in half and make an 8-strand braid, but I'm going to leave it together right in the middle so it's easier to attach up at the top. It's going to be solid there, and then it's going to split about an inch out from the center on either side. Split that in half and then bevel those pieces, tie it on, and then we'll be able to start braiding it. Now braiding lays a lot nicer if you bevel the back side of the lace, so on the flesh side instead of the grain side. Take an edge beveler to it. You can also just use, I know whip makers that just use a really sharp knife to do this, and use their fingernail or thumbnail as a guide, but I've never been able to quite get that skill down. I just use a real wide, this is the number 3 edge beveler. And then when you go to braid it, that edge will be thinner and it'll roll down and the lace will be domed rather than have square ridges that just don't feel like they're done. Now at first, braids always seem to look bad because everything looks loose or not lined up right. You got lumps and bumps you gotta sort out as you tighten everything up. And a lot of it sorts itself out as you're braiding. So this is what's referred to as a diamond braid, which means I'm going to be going over and under every strand. You could also do an 8-strand braid by just going under 2, over 2. But I want a full finished diamond braid handle on this. So we're going to go, you want to wind up over the last one. So it's over, under, all right, under, over, under, over. So this pulls from the top on this side, it wraps around under that one, over this one, under that one, over that one, and winds up on the bottom of the same side it started on. And then you want to hold that one tight while you take the top one from this side and do the same thing. And I found one of the easiest ways to do this is to just sort your hand through them and grab that one and pull it through. And you just have to pull everything tight as you go. And then hold this one tight while you work with the next one. So no matter how many strands you're braiding, you're only ever really dealing with 2 of them at a time. You're holding the last one that you used tight, and you're pulling one through that you're actually working with currently. Alright, now I am past the end of the handle. Take a spring clip to hold it for a little bit. While I bind this end up. We're going to cover each of these bindings on the end with a Turk's head knot. To cover those up, I'll have to trim this off and tie the Turk's heads, and we're going to roll all of this. Well, I can't really roll it very well with the axe head on it, but we're going to smooth all that out. I might roll it, I might just pound on it, but we're going to smooth all that out, and then we can tie our Turk's heads and be done with this project. Now to roll a piece, you need a hard surface, like our granite slab, and a board. I'm just going to use the back of this strop that I always use. The other option is to use a cobbler's hammer. Especially on these lumps. It actually shapes that leather around the other pieces of leather and smooths it out. It's still got some texture to it. You can still feel the weave to it, but it doesn't have like entire pieces of lace running across other entire pieces of lace. Okay, so I grabbed my little Australian strander lace cutting tool that I use for cutting lace quite a bit, and went and cut this lace off of this side of leather That should be a nice complementary color. And we'll use that for our turk's head. Alright, we're going to start off by actually running under some of our bound-on lacing here. That way can't go anywhere. So at least on this particular turk's head, there's a whole bunch of different ones. But at least on this one, the real trick to it is you've got on the back side these two that are running parallel. And you have this piece that's underneath, so it needs to go over one. So you have to work one of these over the other. And you have to have enough spare lace to do it. You can't have it too tight just yet. One of them needs to work over the other, but you need to make sure that they don't work back over this side, so you can't let that run past. So you have to hold these two X's for a little bit. As you lock first one in and then the other. And you see these here are going to want to swap back if you're not careful. So you got to make sure that stays where it needs to be. And go over that one. And if you do it all right, you should wind up kind of right on top of or right next to the one you first started with. And then you can just follow it around and widen this whole thing out and tighten it up a little bit. I'm only going to do a second follow through on this one, or one follow through. Now normally I don't do this because I don't trust this particular plastic handle is kind of slick. I don't trust it to not slide off there. I don't really have anything that I've got pinned in there. So I'm going to use a little bit of CA glue to hopefully bind that in a little bit better. Okay, then I just have to tie the knot on this one, and it's going to be basically second verse, same as the first. We're going to start by running underneath of it. Only this one, I don't have to worry about it going anywhere, so I won't have to put any glue on it.